Welcome back to Space Cowboy for some more Starfield, and today we're going to be talking about an interview that Todd Howard recently gave with Mr. Mighty Plays. Awesome interview, loads of cool stuff in there, and we learned a lot about Year 2 of Starfield. Now, it doesn't seem like Starfield is close to Year 2, but it launched almost 9 months ago, and Year 2 is fast approaching. This year has gone so damn quick, it's going nowhere. It'll be Christmas soon. I know, the dreaded C word. But this interview gave us loads of cool stuff about what's coming into Year 2 and some of the thought process behind Starfield's Shattered Space DLC and loads of other bits and bobs. Now, if you are a fan of Starfield, you know what to do. Subscribe to the channel, drop a like in the video, and stick around for more Starfield content. Now, the interview was based primarily around Bethesda as a whole and not just Starfield. So the first sort of half an hour of the interview is talking about Elder Scrolls, some Fallout 76, and how they operate over at Bethesda. Really good. Gives a lot of insight on how they do things over there, how the development teams are formed and how they work. And the full interview is in the description down below if you do want to go check it out. I'd highly recommend it. It's just over an hour long and is brilliant. Loads and loads of cool stuff in there. But when it does come to Starfield, the near future is already filled with great things. The Shattered Space DLC is releasing later this year, and land vehicles are hopefully coming in the next update. Todd has already said that Starfield is going to continue to get support for years to come, and of course the latest update added to Creations in of itself is going to add countless hours of new Bethesda and community created content to Starfield, and we're already seeing great progress on that on the Creations now, which is brilliant. It's only been out a matter of days and there's some brilliant stuff on there. But the first big Starfield question that was asked was around about the updates and them being every sort of 6 weeks, which is what they did say at the back end of 2023. They said they're going to be operating on a 6-week update schedule, but didn't really elaborate on that, whether it would be 6 weeks between updates, like major updates, or 6 weeks between Steam beta branches. There was no real news on that. So luckily they have expanded on that a little bit.
Hey, every 6 weeks or so we'll have something for you. But these are two pretty sizable updates, kind of going back to back. Is this what the cadence can look like moving forward for Starfield into the Shattered Space expansion and maybe even beyond it?
Well, first, I think the cadence of things, I think it's going to differ depending on the update that we're doing and where our development lands. I think sometimes, look, you'll have some shorter gaps. Sometimes you'll have bigger gaps between bigger updates.
And like Todd says, they're going to be doing it at regular intervals. They don't have a date yet, and I think the response was brilliant. Doesn't mind. To be honest, myself, I don't mind at all if updates take a little bit longer. It'd just be nice to see what's going on, what the community are waiting on, and what the updates are going to entail. So if we did see less frequent updates but with much bigger patches, bigger parts in them, I think that would be great. And Todd, as mentioned, he says into the 2-year gap things might be a little bit different and updates may take a lot longer, so we'll have to wait and see. It's obviously going to depend a lot on what they're working on at Bethesda. If there's new items coming out or major updates for other games, obviously Starfield may take a bit of a back seat. And then one of the major talking points was obviously Shattered Space. We have no release date yet, but we have seen an awesome trailer. I love the trailer, it was brilliant, and I cannot wait for Shattered Space to release. We've only been in development, though, since the game officially launched in September. So they announced, obviously, Shattered Space, they had the ideas there ready to go, but they didn't start development work until Starfield released. So definitely explains why we're seeing such a delay. They initially said it'd be coming at the start of 2024, but now we are obviously halfway through 2024 and we only have a summer release date at the moment. Now, something I did find really interesting is the fact that the majority of the new DLC is going to be taking place on one city, a new city/planet. Very excited for that one.
That Shattered Space, the bulk of that expansion pack, pretty much, once you get to the city and the planet, it takes place there.
That's going to be one of my questions.
It allows us to build a landscape like we would traditionally do and have the city and the quest. And so that story takes place there.
Now, we don't know if that new planet or a new system is being added, or it's going to be an existing planet that has been locked and we haven't discovered yet, or we've gone on, discovered it, but there's been no city or anything there, and they're coming over. But one of the reasons we could be seeing this new one planet DLC, which runs through an entirety of a storyline, on that planet is actually because of some of the criticism. Mr. Mighty Plays did bring up a pretty valid point that could be something that they're going to be changing going forward, but Todd had this to say about that.
The critiques really coming out of Starfield's launch was the exploration. I know you've spoken to how Starfield's going to handle a little differently to Fallout to Elder Scrolls. Like they're all going to feel a little different in how they play and how you get around and whatnot. Would you say that some of that focus, I mean, you said you started dev work in September, so maybe you were aware of it, but would you say that some of that response, some of that criticism that came your way fueled the direction of where you were going with Shattered Space? Was like, let's keep this kind of in one area for the most part.
I would say when we were making Starfield, look, we struggled with, how to make exploration fun on big barren planets.
Mhm.
And we felt good with where we landed, knowing that it's not going to scratch the same itch for a lot of people.
No, I think that's pretty cool. I would like to see more items focused on one planet rather than go somewhere, speak to someone, fly away, spend 3 seconds there, fly back. I think more longevity in those quest lines around certain areas would be quite cool. I like staying on one planet a little bit longer. Yes, there might not be as much to do and explore, and you're just seeing the same things. But if you've got a decent quest line on there, it can make it much more interesting. But when it does come to the expansions for Starfield, they are going with a similar strategy to Fallout 4's Far Harbor DLC. So maybe somewhere that we go out, go there, stay there, and then come back. We'll have to wait and see. But we could see yearly story expansions for Starfield, which is quite cool.
Now, you mentioned annual expansions. So is that like the plan, like each year? Because you mentioned year 2 Starfield, each year is going to have like a new story expansion. Because I won't spoil it for anyone listening, so don't worry. But Starfield kind of ends in a spot where I think there's a full circle moment, but there's also like, I have some questions. And I think Shattered Space with Andreja like is answering some questions. So is the idea to continue to answer those questions in continuous years with expansions, not to lock you guys in too hard? I know things change, but would you say you're aiming to do like an annual story expansion every year?
I would say we want to more or less, yeah. How long that continues, hopefully a very long time, but we're planning for the one after this, so there will be another one.
And something else that's interesting is that some of these updates and expansions could see the unveiling of brand new systems and mechanics, which I think is quite cool. And the game is definitely missing spacewalking. Everybody wants to see some spacewalking, but with that in mind, it's not written off just yet, and it could be something we see in the future.
So beyond the story too, do these expansions add anything gameplay wise? Like I saw you guys are working on a vehicle, which is awesome.
The vehicle
So
is
excited for that.
awesome.
Yeah, I'm so
I
excited for that.
can't, yeah,
But
the
do you guys
vehicle.
plan on adding any more gameplay mechanics or changes there? You don't have to specify what if you can't, but
We're looking at all that. That's what I
okay.
can say.
Okay.
Now, they also addressed the elephant in the room. Now, if you don't know what I'm on about, it is Starfield being review bombed like there is no tomorrow. I have done a full video on that. It's basically paywalled quests behind the Creations Hub, which, yes, is a bit of a shit move. I've done a full video on that. It's in the top right now if you do want to check it out.
Yeah, we hear that feedback too, and first of all, I say that stuff gets priced based on things that we've done before, both in Creation Club and then Fallout 76, and we're always trying to be kind of looking at what else is out there, really make sure we're giving value to everybody, and where we're not, hey, we definitely will adjust. The one thing I want to say on the Trackers Alliance, that was really an attempt to something we did in Creation Club where we'd say, hey, you get this special outfit and you get this special weapon. We kind of wanted to put them together and then thought, let's go the extra mile and wrap those around a quest. But now we definitely see the feedback, right? And that's like not what we want at all in terms of, oh no, this looks like a faction that we're chopping up and then selling for 700 credits at a time. And so I do think we're going to take a look at that and how we deliver content, like that, and whether we're changing pricing or breaking it up or what we should do there.
But given what Todd just said there, it does look like they could be changing the idea of the pricing and the idea behind the questline pricing overall. I do think that's a smart move. I've mentioned it many times before since this came out, that I think charging for a full questline, I don't mind at all. But giving it at the start, going, here you go, oh, just so you know, you will have to pay to complete this. I think that would have been a better option. A little flash up at the start saying that, so you don't go into that quest line and then go, oh shit, I've got to do a paywall to get through the rest. Hopefully they don't continue to add paid quests like that. I don't have an issue paying for things, but having that tease at first is a bit of a shit move. It feels like oh, here's a demo, but now you've got to pay the full price for it. But I mean, we've already paid full price for the game. Either give us the quest or release a full DLC, or lock the cosmetics behind a paywall. But speaking of negative feedback, they also spoke about the Starfield launch, and it received a hell of a lot of criticism as the game released. Some of those criticisms were very valid. Some people were just expecting a Fallout 4 experience in space, so I don't think those criticisms were valid at all. And then it also did get caught up in the sort of console wars. So Mate did ask how the team handles those kinds of things, how they feel about the criticism, not just on Starfield, but also previous games that the teams have worked on.
You sometimes feel like Bethesda Game Studios, for maybe a lack of a better term, has a target painted on their back.
Well, I would say you alluded to it, but you've experienced some of that, right? In your creating of content and what the people who view it and say and what their comments are. And, look, the stuff that we do, you reach a level of popularity and a hype, and you just have to understand, like, for us, I know a lot of that comes with it. Okay. And you do grow a pretty thick skin if you really want to do this. You have to grow a thick skin in accepting the criticism. That's what makes us better. And these franchises and the time that people spend in the games, they're really, really important to them. It's not always pleasant to read. No, it's like you wish people would be nicer, but it does matter a lot to them.
And I think Todd's response was absolutely awesome. I think developers, yes, they're people too. Everyone's going to be upset. You work hard for something to be released and then people just shit on it. I don't think that's very fair. If you've got valid criticism, Bethesda devs, they take it on board and they will work with it, same as a lot of other devs. But there are people out there that just like to shit on things just for the sake of shitting on things. And, it's a dick move. Don't do it. Don't be a dick. Be nice. No need to be a dick. But now, though, we are going to wrap that one up there, ladies and gentlemen. We will have some more Starfield news as soon as we've got some more. I will also be releasing the Tracker questline video, which I did. Yes, the one that's behind a paywall. Don't judge me. I like Starfield. That will be coming in a couple of days' time. I've just been having a little bit of fun with it, playing around. I've not finished fully yet. I've just been looting and shooting and going for all sorts of random shit. As you do on Starfield, you do get lost in Bethesda games, and that's one of the things I love so much about them. But now, though, I've been Cowboy. You've been awesome. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you very soon with some more Starfield.